Hey, welcome to Roger's Hot Rod Garage. This is one of those backwards videos where I'm filming the introduction at the tail end just because I didn't think about doing it on the beginning. But check this out. All the tires are back on right now, and what you see here in the next couple of minutes is actually doing the brake bleeding and putting on these actual hubs. These ones that are flat black right here. Again, think backwards, Back to the Future. So no, I don't dress like this in my YouTube videos. I just got back from work, but take care and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, so on the back right here, and what's kind of important here is if you put your head way down here, you can't see that, but my head's right here, is make sure these shoes are kind of centered. And I'm not tapping it with a hammer, but just a little bit, because otherwise you won't get that drum up on there. And then look, let me back this up a little bit. Right down here, you see where I got some grease on that right there on the corner? So, you know, it's not common sense stuff, but it's just good practice to clean this thing out really good. Now, this one actually has a little lip on it. I'm really not that concerned about it because it's not that big of a lip, and I think it's almost like a factory type thing. So what I always do is, here's my grease gun again. I just get a little bit on the tip of my finger right here, not much. And I take a wire brush and I just clean these little ridges out right here, because look, this is splined right here. You see that? Get all that crud out of there, because otherwise it's going to be a hard time putting it on there and then taking that back off of there. Just a little bit, not much, because you don't want that stuff greasing out. But look, there's a retainer cap on the back of this thing. That's what this thing right here is for. And so now, if I've done everything right, oh, and make sure you run your adjusters all the way as far in, because these are new shoes, and of course this is what you can access from the outside. So this big giant hole right here, and you do the adjustment. Again, 1957. So again, I've touched the inside. My fingers are kind of greasy, so just get this out of here, because the last thing you want is obviously the grease and the lubrication on here. So I've got the outside, line old girl up into the splines. There they are. Yes, sir. So now I'm past that lip. It's clean, and now you can access these holes right there. I don't know if you can see up in there, but there's that retainer, so perfectly fine. I'll put the big giant nut on here right now with the washer underneath it, and call it a day for this side over here. Let me move to the other side now. All right, here's a big giant castle nut. Just gonna clean the threads a little bit in here with this little wire brush, brass brush. I throw just a little bit of grease on here, not much. And then this one goes on without a washer on the bottom. There you go. And that one is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So I'll see if I can show you how this works right here. Just that little star washer right here. And you see a little gap in there? I'm trying to get rid of that right now. So that shoe is as far in as possible. That's all I'm doing. And when the actual outside hub is on, that's where you do your wedging, like up and down right here. And now, honestly, I'm just trying to figure out whether I'm opening it or closing it. So that is getting tighter, so it's going in. Again, I want that shoe, it won't go any further. That one I can see right there is completely flush, so that one's good to go. And so the only thing I gotta do right now is like I did on the other side. I'll move my camera back just a little bit. Is just look down here and just tap these things as close to center. So that one's way down, right there. Well, that can actually go a little bit higher, a little bit higher. And then that's it. Grab myself just a little bit of grease from my grease gun here. Not much. That's not for me, that's for whoever owns this thing in 20 years to take that off of there. it'll come off a little bit easier if this thing is around in 20 years. Don't know. And again, you don't want that stuff gooping up on there. You just want just a little bit to help facilitate it going up on there. Lubricate it just a little bit, not a whole lot. And so I think I'm good. A little bit on that thrush washer back there. Clean your hands again, like I told you on the other side. Clean, clean. Don't grab the inside. And let me see if I'm close to, there it is right there. Okay. So this one's done. I'll clean up my castle nut, put that one on over here, and I got one left right here. And check it out, nice and loose. It's just that initial lip you have to get over without scoring or damaging the shoes, and you're okay with this one. So that one's actually done. I'll clean up my castle nut here a little bit because this is exposed on the outside to make it look all pretty. Throw a little bit of grease on it, and we're almost done here. That way I can bleed the brakes, put this thing on the ground, and then drive it up to the shop. Just until I get on the ground, and then I'll put my breaker bar on it. If you hear the shoe rubbing lightly like that, that's not a problem at all. Again, I'll check the specs on this one. I will actually torque this correctly, or if it's just good and tight, again, this right here. Oh man, let's just pull it up on this, so I've actually hit the bottom right here. All right, and the last one, I'm gonna try to cheat here and leave the bearing on there. And I forgot here, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease seal, on this back right here. Bearing's already in there. Got plenty of new grease up in there with my grease gun. And then now, you're supposed to take the bearing out, so that's exactly why you're supposed to take the bearing out. So let me go ahead and do that. Not that you ruined the bearing, but it's just that you can actually align this thing a little bit better. And then of course I got crap all over my hand again, and you don't want to touch the brakes with crap all over your hand. So here we go. Let me put that sucker back up on there. Let that sucker come through here. Now, of course it ain't gonna go up on there. Well, that was just a little bit easier than I was expecting. Throw your greased up bearing back up in here. Back this up a little bit. And right there. Bearing, come on, get in the race. Yeah, it's a little bit wedged up in there, hold on. There it is. Now this one's got a boatload of grease on it too. And then marry those two pieces together. Look at that. Go get my bolts, and that's about it. So done with putting everything back on. All right, and this one here is the one that's the wrong, counterclockwise tightens it up, as you can see right here. So just be aware of that. I mean, that's pretty simple. You can just, actually these are large enough, you can look at the thread pattern on them from the top down and actually see that. So again, this is nice and snug, probably a little bit too much, even with the finger tight, and they move still. And again, I'll adjust those tight, and people don't notice, but see the little thing hanging out right there? That is your speed odometer. It tells you how fast you're going when you're cruising down the Autobahn oder Landesstraßen. All right, so one thing leads to the other. Before I put the gas tank back in here, this is the front end of the car right here. All my brakes and everything are down here, so you can see my new lines. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the rag joint. Pretty simple. $11.50, $12 Rock Auto. I said a price earlier, but basically it's under 15 bucks. So these are pretty easy to take out. These actually had little bitty mini cotta pins in them, or Carter pins. And this is just a matter of making everything ready for the inspection here in Germany, which is pretty tough. I mean, not tough, they just look at simple shit like, hey, does this thing look like it's been on here for 50 years? Sure does. I'm just gonna get rid of it because I personally don't want to go down the road with some old crap like this. Let me just tap this a little bit. There it is right there. So that's the coupler. I'll pull that out. And then, let's see, how does this thing come out of here? I guess like, pull that back a little bit. Oops, there goes my steering wheel. But that's it right there. Just gonna replace that one with this one right here, except I'm gonna get this Billy Bob Joe stuff off right here and use the old original one that's out of this weave right here. Looks a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. And I'm also not going to use these bolts right here, although they're locking, because all these bolts that I pulled out originally have got the little cotter pins in them, so that looks just a little bit cooler. All right, that's it for this one right here. Put that in right now and call it a day. All right, so we're at the back right here. I'm going to use my pneumatic brake bleeder. This is from Central Pneumatic. Get these at Harbor Freight. Probably the best $20 or $15 I spent in the last 10 years or 15 years. This thing is super old. So you don't need that. You need this. You throw this on here like that. And of course you need compressed air to create the vacuum. So I'll pop this down here. Then this bleeder right here goes right here like that. And then you open it up and you start with the furthest from the end, and I'll just lay down here and knock that out, and then you go forward. And then if you see those feet over there, that's my better half. It's going to assist and keep the brake fluid in the master cylinder reservoir a-flowing. So here we go. All right, put it in. Good? Now this basically just sucks the fluid all the way through the system, so it's going to take a while to actually do that. But it's better than up, down, up, down, up, down for a half an hour and get a cramp in your leg. So I'll let you know when it starts flowing here. All right, so check this out. That was pretty fast. You see how that air bubbles and fluid are starting to go through it? I just got this thing open right now, and it's working. Compressor's on. I don't know if you can actually even hear me here. It's pretty doggone loud. So I'll start on back, and then I'll go around, do that one, the furthest from the map cylinder, passenger side front, and then driver's side front over there. Move to the other side. right, and then the last aspect of this thing is just the up, down. So open it up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, no air left in these suckers right here. Pop the caps on, move on to the next wheel. All right. Oh yeah, good hard pedal. About as far as it'll go. Now, if you know these old drum brakes, I'm not saying it's not that easy, but what you gotta do now is just go here and drive it a little bit. Get these shoes pressed completely in so the shoes are seated properly, and then you can come back out of here and do your final adjustments. That's just, you know, trial and error right now, because these are not disc brakes, so they're gonna pull a bit to the left and right, but that's why Volkswagen put these big giant holes here. You get yourself a nice flat blade screwdriver and just adjust them a little bit. Not a big deal. All right, so everything is ready down here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put the gas tank back in right now, and then I gotta crawl on the bottom, and then I can actually lower this thing down and put the tires on it. Pretty simple here, so I just gotta get the dust off of it, and looking pretty spiffy up in here, looking pretty clean. All right. All right, that was kind of easy. And then it's still sitting on something over here. There we go. Now, just run the bolts up in here, and we'll be good to go. Check this, make sure this thing ain't leaking on the bottom, so before I bolt everything down. Let me see here. Looking good so far. Right, so here's what I'm looking for right here. Man, that thing actually looks pretty decent. I'll tighten these down in just a second, get all that dust and crap off of here. But look, I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's that, what do you call it, drain cock? And everything looks like it's nice and dry down there, so that's good to go. Nothing underneath there, nothing dripping out. So I'll go ahead and fill this thing up, put the tires on it, crank it up and back it out of here. All right, hey, I'm gonna close this out for the second time right now, so sorry for the long video. If you like it, then that's cool. But check this out. Show you what it's like here in Germany. Beautiful day today. Those cats over there party hard. I don't know if you can hear that or not. All right, man. And actually, stuff like that doesn't bother me. So look, I'm gonna try something here. This is not something that I'm faking here. Hold on. Look, this is the engine. It's cold. I haven't cranked this thing up literally, and probably, let's see, how does this thing close? Like this. I haven't cranked this thing up literally in a month. I did mount my battery up in here. Probably can't see that up in here, but the battery's mounted down there. I'm gonna take a seat up in here. I gotta figure out why this little sucker keeps popping out of here. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I figured out that horn button, but check this out. So I'm gonna turn the ignition again, push the clutch, and look, this time I got brake down here. I actually got good brake. Green light cuts on. It ain't gonna crank up right away, I can tell you. So I got the fuel line. So I guess maybe that's reserve now. I don't know, I'll have to figure that one out. See that little lever down there? You're supposed to kick it with your foot, and that's the reserve because there's no fuel tank in here. So let me change this again. Push this button here, sorry. There we go. Oh, that didn't work too long, hold on. So that is, no, not wheel start, but this thing is running like a top, man. So anyway, from Roger's Hot Rod Garage, thanks for watching. I can actually drive this thing with brakes right now. It doesn't run right now, but that's cool. Hey, take care. Again, thanks for watching. This is the second closure of this video. Bye-bye. All right, one more little bonus thing right here because I just can't let it go. So that's the retro sound one. Now it looks like somebody's already cut this right here. So that's what it could look like right there. And I won't see that bottom edge right there. And then I'll get myself, see these knobs right here to the left to the right? I'll pick up those at that Vetorama I was telling you about earlier. And you really don't see that gap up in here. So it looks pretty decent. All right, take care.